Topic 3: Health hazard and safety in construction. Did you know that construction site is one of the most dangerous workplaces? According to the unique nature of the process involved, this industry is being recognized as one of the dangerous workplaces according to occupational safety and health. So let's learn what are the health hazard and safety in construction. The course learning outcomes are to identify work activities in the construction site, to identify safety and health hazard at the construction site, to understand hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control or HIREC. Before we go further, we need to know what is the definition of the building operation. According to Factory and Machineries Act 1967, building operation are construction, structural alteration, repair or maintenance of a building, including repainting, redecoration, and external cleaning of the structure, the demolition of a building, and the preparation for and the laying of foundation of an intended building. What are some activities during a construction? At the first phase, excavation for footing, piling, drilling, bricklaying, and at the later stage, installation of wires and pipes, plastering, concrete work, trenching, and many more. Construction is an inherently dangerous industry, and much of the risks are stem from the use of machineries and equipment. So this slide shows some of the machineries used and their intended application. For example, like crane and hoist is used for lifting material, passenger hoist and gondola is used for lifting workers, bending and cutting machine is used for cutting and shaping piles, excavator for earth excavation. Apart from that, there are a lot of heavy-duty vehicles coming in to deliver material, for example, like lorry and concrete mixer truck. Common construction equipment such as cutting machine and mobile scaffold, chainsaw and hand tools such as hammer, cordless drill are also pose a lot of hazards. Okay, what is hazard? Hazard is defined as any source of potential damage, harm, or adverse effects or something under certain conditions at work. For example, like electricity. The source of hazard is come from energy, and the harm caused by electricity is shock or electrocution, whereby someone can die or get severe injury due to the passing through of electric current to their body. Whereas risk is the chance or probability of harm actually being done. For example, the smoker has a greater potential to get a lung cancer compared to the non-smoker. And look at this picture. At the first picture shows that a tourist go to the zoo and he take a photo of a lion inside a cage. So in this condition, the risk is low because there is a barrier between the tourist and also the hazard, which is the lion. And at the bottom picture shows that a hunter in the jungle and also he wants to hunt a lion but without any barrier or protection. So this condition will lead to a higher risk. So this shows that the same hazard does not always pose the same risk. Remember, risk is hazard plus exposure. While danger is relative exposure to a hazard may be present, but there may be little danger because the control measures has been taken. For example, like electrical hazard is danger to the people who directly attach with it, but it can be prevented if safety measures is taken, like switch off the main source of electricity. A common way to classify hazard are according to the category. There are physical hazard, biological hazard, chemical hazard, ergonomic, and psychosocial hazard. So how we want to know what is physical hazard? Physical are things that can be observed using 5 senses without changing or trying to change the composition of the substance. For example, noise, heat, working at height, and working in the confined space. Biological hazards are any living organism which may cause harm to health. These include bacteria, viruses, fungi, pests, and animals. The COVID-19 virus is one of the examples of the biological hazard. Okay, for example, like a worker wants to clear the construction area, so maybe he found a dangerous or poisonous snake. So the poisonous snake is one of the biological hazard. Another example is construction site always be the breeding site for the dengue mosquito because there are a lot of puddles and on the stagnant water on the concrete floor. So the dengue mosquito love to breed on that site and become a threat to the workers because the workers can get dengue fever. Chemical hazards are any chemical compounds in the form of solid, liquid, gases, mist, dust, fume, and vapors. The common chemicals that can be found at the site are caustic soda, concrete and plastic additive, solvent, paint, timber treatment chemical, and pesticide. The workers may be exposed to the chemical through inhalation of the fume, ingestion, skin absorption, and injection. Chemical hazard can cause chronic diseases such as cancer. Ergonomic hazards can cause painful and disabling injuries at the joints and muscles because of the non-ergonomic posture or any repetitive motion, for example, like hammering, vibration, heavy loading, manual lifting, prolonged standing or sitting, overexertion, improper illumination due to not enough source of light, excessive vibration such as drilling. So this ergonomic hazard can cause a lot of pain to the joints and muscle. One of the hazards which is not always being aware by people is psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial hazard is any aspect of the environment that are associated with psychiatric, psychological, and physical injury or illness. For example, like high work demand, long working hours, poor work-life balance, violence at work, for example, always being scolded by the superior, so sexual harassment and job insecurity. Psychosocial hazard is equally important with other hazard because it can cause mental and emotional well-being being disturbed. These are another example of risks and dangers when working at site, such as risk of fall when working from height due to lack of guardrails or unguarded opening, and noise-induced hearing loss because of excessive noise every day. And also workers may be crushed by slab or any falling things from height, and heat stroke because long working hours under the sun, soft tissue damage due to the non-ergonomic posture, and lung damage due to prolonged exposure to dust and toxic fibers.